Hey traders, Nick here doing the futures levels for Sunday night. The futures opened this evening relatively calm after a very big week last week. I would consider that a win for the bulls. Nothing happened over the weekend, so the only bombshell that we might have this week, good or bad, would be the reaction to the Nvidia. I think that should take center stage. In May, Nvidia changed the landscape. It took the S&P into its breakout. The QQQ was already in a breakout. So same here. The ES is lagging the NQ with its progress. The ES is fighting the level on top is still the same. The high was the high watermark that we did at 45.41 and a quarter. We almost matched it later, which is 45.39. So going into 45.41, they're going to try to sell it. But if they take it out, boom, they explode higher, maybe to 68. On the downside, as far as support, we have a cluster of candles that are wicks down to 45.12, 45.13. That would be these. And then below that, we have a couple of sets of wicks. I think the strongest one would be at 4,500 flat, one above it, two above it. And if we lose those, it would be normal to give back a few. And the S&P resistance zone would be the basket where I would expect them to have support below. So if we fall into 44.80, give or take, we would find buyers, and also around 44.65. And anything below 44.44 would be considered having better chance of support. All these lines that are squiggly, these are moving averages, and those are lined up below the 45.20 mark. So these should also provide a lot of support. I think I would be shocked if this is taken out without a new major headline that comes across. Okay, resistance above, plenty, but it's not that young. So I don't think it's going to be surgical. The only surgical ones are the ones that we just named. If we go to the NQ, I'm going to repeat the same thing. We have buyers below us, but not concrete floors, and we have tails above us that are super sharp. So super hard to break out, but doable. First one, 15,940. Above that, you have a test at 15,981 and a harder one up at the top from last couple of weeks, which is 16,048. Those are resistance until they're taken out, then become catalysts. And downside support, I think the only hard line that I see is 15,795. It's not this one. I would say this one. Below that, you have scattered lines, but the hardest lines will be below 15,650. So into this one candle's body and wick. And it's a support zone from September. You can see the relativity. These are already up against summer. All right, so this is the NASDAQ. Now, what about the cute one? The one that's been in trouble? That is the small caps, the RTY. It has made headway, a lot of progress, in spite of one red day, I think. I'm long the IWM for the prospect of these guys breaking out. So let's say the main indices don't break out. This one might have a catch-up trade. So immediate sellers, I think there are 1824. And the hardest sellers are at the high, which was 18. Let's round up 39, 1839. We might have an ascending channel. And if we do, then buy the dip inside that channel. We have old scars to go through. We have 1863. That's a hard sell. As far as buyers, I think the strongest buyers would be around 1770. There's another set of buyers which have volume support as well, below 1750, 1745, give or take $2. And of course, the level buyers will be down at the whole base of this mega spike, which would be 1717. That's on this guy. CL crude, let's see if they made any progress. We went long the XLE, and I think the easy wins have come and gone. So now into 77 for CL, the crude futures contract. I think there are sellers lurking into 77, and then more sellers above 78.50 until you clear basically 80. I'm not feeling good about it. Rallies have been sold into lower lows, so why is this any different? How do I say that with confidence? Well, let's assume this rally looked pretty darn good for people, right? And then it went to here. So I'm going to do this. What if this is the same type of a thing? Where we might do this and then make a lower low. I don't know. I'm prognosticating here, okay? We do have support from prior zones. So this is different than up here, but still leave room for error. Okay, GC gold. I'm out of the silver long. I will be re-engaged on dips. The gold was a little bit behind silver, so I like it. Maybe there's a buyer at 1974, a stronger buyer anywhere below 1970. The wick buyers are at 1964 and of course 1960. Now below 1960, they'll probably retrace everything down to this base. 1950 should have solid support. Higher lows, higher highs maybe, but it may have hit some very significant sellers. So on top, the opportunity lies by beating 1997. Take out 1997, you might have oomph to take out these prior peaks in a set of higher lows and higher highs. See, this is the opposite of the oil trade. So if I put a ghost trade here, this dip resulted in a higher high. Whoops, picked on the wrong thing. So if we were to consider this dip resulted in a higher high, right? So this is a dip right here. What if this dip also results in a higher high? Like what if this was that? Okay, so that's doable. Silver is already ahead of gold, so I would think that silver is a little more vulnerable because of it. So I would re-engage long silver via the SLV. It's easy to trade. 2350. You have buyers at 2340. I think the biggest line is 23,240. So just a dip that would make sense. I would get long, but I'm not in a hurry because I just won with it. I don't want to give back my winnings. Arguably, they broke out from 23,250, so they might come back and retrace it and touch it for footing. So that would be one thing I would look for. Nat gas. So there's a harmonic setup on nat gas that could take it to 30.0506. So if you see a rally in nat gas of about 4%, don't be surprised. It might extend all the way to 3.1. I'm just not happy trading that thing. It's too much risk. But they are taking some rallies and they are selling the rallies. So let's see if they can take back that 3.1 level. If they can take back 3.1, 3.15 and hold it, they might be able to inch their way up into the sellers at 3.28, 3.29, let's say 3.3. Until then, they're in danger. Lose this footing and you can end up in the high twos really quickly. I think we're going to leave it here since we do have the strategy session as well. Good luck tomorrow.